What's up everyone, back to another video. This is What If Naruto Was a Gunsman, Part 3. I know I cut the last video off short. It just ends with me talking. I had to go do something, and that's why I cut it off short. But we're just gonna get straight into where I left off. So as soon as he kills Haku, he takes his nail, because he's in the Ninetales form still. He takes his nail and scratches his helmet, and he's like, okay, that is my first kill. And every single tally that he puts on his helmet is a single kill, and he will rack up multiple kills later on in the series. So then, once he finishes off that, he goes over to the mob leader, because Kakashi had just finished killing Zabuza. Goes over to the mob people and he kills all of them. He does Shadow Clone Jutsu and pulls out his Glock 19 and just shoots all of them and kills every single one of them. And he scratches off at least maybe 100 different tallies on his head. So he has 100 tallies on his helmet, and then he passes out from pure exhaustion, and then Kakashi is she's also tired. Why is my thing? I don't know why my screen just went dark for whatever, but so then fucking Kakashi goes over to the once he sits down for a second, he goes over to Sasuke, makes sure he's alright, then goes over to Sakura and Master Bridge Builder, and after maybe a day, everyone's alright, they get their energy back, and then they name the bridge after Naruto, and then they start walking home, and the entire time while they're walking, Kakashi's looking at Naruto, and is like, I can't believe he had that in him to kill all those people. And he's kind of concerned for him a little bit, but he thinks not much of it at the moment. And then, because Sasuke passed out, he didn't know what had happened to Haku or the mob leader. He asked Naruto, hey, what happened to that guy, and why do you have all those tallies on your head? And Naruto was like, oh, well, every one tally equals a kill. So the biggest one right there on the front of my helmet is Haku, and then all the smaller ones are just low class mob gangsters or whatever. And then he's like, oh, okay. And he's singing in his head like, geez, I probably shouldn't have messed with him right now. So then they get back to the village, and they're chilling for a while. Then the tuning exams start, and Naruto is chilling, and then Kakashi comes up to him and is like, okay, meet at this bridge in 5 minutes. And then everyone's there, the whole team's there, and Kakashi explains. Kakashi's like, okay, I'm gonna sign you guys up for the tuning exams. The way this is gonna work is that there'll be 4 exams. You gotta pass each one as a team, so you could become a tuning. And some of them are hyped up, and Sasuke is like, whatever, fine. So then they go to the first part. They walk up into the exam room, and they see all these other guys. They see all different type of shinobi or ninjas there, and they feel presence, not so well presence from them. But then most of the people that look at Naruto, because he's in his whole uniform, they're looking at Naruto and they don't get a good feeling from him. So then they just stay away from him. They don't even want to look at him right now. So then they all get into the exam room, and then the proctor explains all the rules. Like, okay, you have a certain amount of time to do this test. If you get caught cheating a certain amount of times, you will be disqualified with your teammates. So if one of you mess up, then all of you fail. And then they're like, okay, we have to do this. So in this timeline, Naruto would be smarter than canon Naruto, so he would actually do pretty well. He'd be able to answer most of them without having to cheat. But on a few of them, he does cheat with just simple looking at someone's paper, but he does it um, super well, where no one can see. So then once he done with the test, he's the first one to turn it in, and once he turns it in, he goes to the bathroom. Then he comes back and is just chilling. And everyone else is getting close to done. And then the proctor was like, "Okay, so you could stay for the final question, and if you get it right, you pass. Or and if you get it wrong, then you can't ever take this again. You can't become a ninja. But if you like, just you could decide not to do it and just wait till next year. A lot of people, it's mostly like canon, and everyone else decides to stay. The normal teams in canon decide to stay. They all pass. Then they go on to the next exam. So then, while the proctor or exam teacher is explaining everything, Naruto's just chilling there, and he senses a strong person nearby, but he doesn't know who it's coming from because they're in a big crowd. So then, the proctor is like, okay, you're gonna have a heaven and earth scroll. You're only gonna be given one of them, and you gotta get the other one. Then go in the middle of the forest and turn them in. Then you pass. You have like 7 days to do this. So then she's like, okay, you gotta sign this waiver saying you know the like um, the how dangerous this exam could be and all that other good shit. So then everyone signs it, then they get their scroll, then they all get released at different times, so then people could get a head start or whatever. So then as soon as Naruto goes out, his team, they just go out for a while. They're looking for people, and then they fucking what do you call it? All they do is go into the forest and they're looking for people. They take a little break. Then Orochimaru comes up and attacks them. And Orochimaru tries to go for Sasuke, but then Naruto just pulls his Glock out, shoots him in the face. His head explodes, but it regenerates. They're all confused, like, what the hell? How did he not just die there? And they're all scared. And then Naruto's fighting him with all his might. And he does a Shaolin Jutsu. And he like goes for a distance, pulls out his sniper, and shoots Orochimaru multiple times. And a few of the bullets hit, but he just regenerates fast as hell. So then he's getting mad and he just rushes into his face with two Glock 19s, and then he just shoots them in the face. And then he realizes it's not doing much, and then Orochimaru just slams him down, and he's falling down, and he lands on a tree, and the nine-tailed power gets released, and he just goes up. He like lunges up, and his gun transforms to this certain, like when he's using the Nine Tails power and he infuses the Nine Tails chakra with his gun, the gun can transform into something that does way more damage than a regular pistol would do. It would be like getting hit with a bazooka or something. So it transforms, and then he shoots it, and he has a drawback. The blast pushes him back, and then Orochimaru doesn't want to get hit with this because he's regen so many times already. So he tries to deflect it, but his legs get hit with it. and he can't regenerate fast enough. And then Naruto just goes in with Shadow Clone Jutsu, and every time he uses Shadow Clone Jutsu, and he has his like demon shot or gun whatever out. Uh, when he does the Shadow Clone Jutsu, he disperses all his chakra with the Shadow Clones. So then he gets his regular Glock 19 back, but it still does more damage than a regular shot would do. So they're just firing multiple times at Orochimaru, and Orochimaru's using his snakes to deflect the bullets, and then Orochimaru goes under the trees and goes right behind Sasuke and bites him fast, and then runs away. And then Orochimaru says to himself, "God damn, that kid was strong as hell. I need to watch out and make sure I don't get in his face again." So then, once he bit Sasuke passes out, and Naruto also passes out. Then Sakura is there to defend them both while they're recuperating. So then, once they're recuperating, she gets attacked by the Sound Ninja, and then Rock Lee's team comes up and tries to help. And then Sasuke wakes up with his curse mark, and everything's pretty much canon until Naruto wakes up. And when Naruto wakes up, he takes the scroll from the Sound Ninja, and they go to the thing, and they pass. So then, once they passed, they just start chilling for a few days until the second to last fight happens. And everything's canon. Like the teams or the matchups are the exact same. So when it comes up to Naruto and Kiba's fight, Naruto keeps a pretty good distance away from Kiba. He does strategy plays, like he doesn't just rush in there. So then he's just using Shadow Clone Jutsu, and he's using his rubber bullets, so then he could just knock them out, so he doesn't like actually hurt them. So then he's firing them. He knocks out Akamaru, and then a fight is pretty long because he keeps blocking and deflecting them until Naruto gets one good shot into his head, and it knocks him cold out. And then everything else is pretty canon until the 1 month training arc or whatever, until the final exam. So then once the everything is done, Naruto goes up to Kakashi and is like, "Oh, can you train me for the 1 month we have?" And then Kakashi's like, "Oh, I'm gonna train Sasuke. I have this one teacher you might like, and it's just some random guy. He hasn't met what's his name? The guy that is supposed to teach Konohamaru. He hasn't met him yet, so he knows nothing about him." So then Naruto was like, "Oh, I don't want to be trained by this guy. He looks weak." And the guy's like, "Oh, really? Well, I am currently training the future Hokage right now." And Naruto's like, "Oh, is that so? And then, who is that?" And then Konohamaru comes out and is like, "It's me." And they hang out for the day. And then the next day, Naruto doesn't want to train with this guy, so he just goes to the bathhouse to chill, and he sees Pervy Sage there chilling, looking at the girls, and then Naruto goes up, like, "Hey, stop that right now." And then Jiraiya's like, "Who is that?" And he turns around and sees this guy with all black on with guns on him and shit. And then Jiraiya's like, "Who are you?" And then Naruto was like, "I am Naruto Uzumaki of the Hidden Leaf Village, and what you're doing is wrong looking at girls." And then Jiraiya's like, "Oh, Naruto Uzumaki, Minato's child." And Jiraiya's like, "Well, what do you want from me?" And then Naruto's like, "You need to stop looking at those females now." And then he's like, "I'm doing it for my research. I have a book." And then the person Kakashi wanted Naruto to train, or person that was supposed to train Naruto, comes out and is like, "What are you two doing?" And then Naruto's like, this guy was perving on these girls, and then Jiraiya was like, shush, kid, shut up, child. And then the fucking trainer that was supposed to train Naruto is like, I can't have this. And then they try to fight, and then Jiraiya Sensei just claps him up. And then Naruto was like, oh, this one's strong. And then Naruto was like, hey, do you mind training me for a while? I'm doing the tuning exams, and I need to train for a month to hone my skills. And then Jiraiya was like, yeah, I'll teach you, kid, but it'll cost you something. And then he does that little thing in canon where he's like, I like them curvy, kind of like an hourglass, and all this other shit. Then Naruto was like, okay, brings back some watermelon, and then Jiraiya laughs and hits him a few times. And then he doesn't know the sexy jutsu, but Jiraiya's like, whatever, I'll just train you. So then they do basic water walking, and then Jiraiya was like, so those weapons you have on your back, what do they do? And then Naruto was like, here, let me demonstrate. So he charges up some chakra in a bullet, and he shoots a giant, he shoots like a mountainside, and he makes a big ass hole in it. And Jiraiya was like, oh, that's very interesting. So combine gunpowder and chakra inside some mechanism that fires the gunpowder capsule at high speeds to do a lot of damage. So Jiraiya was like, oh, is that the only one you have? And he's like, no, I have this big sniper, which I could shoot from long ranges. I could shoot probably close to a mile away. And then Jiraiya was like, oh, really? That's interesting. And then Jiraiya explains that he has two types of chakra, and they train on that basically for the entire 1 month. They just train on chakra control and how to. He summons Gamabunta, and everything's basically canon until the fight. So once they go up to the fight, it's like first fight Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga. So then once it's just them two fighting, the proctor was like, okay, are you two ready? 3, 2, 1, start. So Neji just starts to trash talk Naruto, saying a bunch of like, it's your destiny shit. And then Naruto's like, yeah, whatever. I'll teach you here and now that you can't decide someone's destiny. And then he does Shadow Clone Jutsu, and he just starts spamming him. But with Neji's rotation, 8 trigrams palm rotation or whatever, his bullets are pretty much useless. So then he has to find a way to get around this. So he undoes the Shadow Clone Jutsu and puts his gun away, and he just tries to do a sniper shot. So he is trying to shoot him with the sniper, and he gets a few shots, and he's using his rubber bullets for this because he's not trying to kill the kid now. And then now that he's been fighting for a while, he's getting pretty tired, and Neji has hit him a few times in his chakra points, but he still has a few open. And he closes his eyes for a millisecond to blink, and Neji just comes up and hits him in all his chakra points. And then Naruto is on the ground struggling, and then Naruto's like, I could do this. And he focuses and charges up, and he gets in his like Nine Tails Biju mode, sort of. You know what happened. He has his Nine Tails, he's controlling the Nine Tails power. And then Neji's like, how is this possible? I just closed all your chakra points. And then he pulls out his Glock 19, and it's inside, like, the demon mode or whatever. And he just charges up a one shot. And he's charging up so much chakra at the gun barrel. There's, like, a little red circle. And as soon as he shoots the gun, it gets engulfed with this chakra energy, and it's still a rubberized bullet, but as soon as it hits um fucking so when he shoots it, Neji does his rotation, but it gets past his rotation, and Neji's like, "How the fuck?" And then it hits him straight in the middle of his chest, and it sends him flying back into the concrete wall, and he gets knocked out. And then Naruto was like, "Wow, that was amazing. I've never felt that powerful before." And then the propter is like, "Winner, Naruto Uzumaki." Then Naruto is celebrating, like, "Yes, I won." And then everything else is canon until the attack on the Hidden Leaf starts. Once the attack on the Hidden Leaf starts, Naruto is going to fight Gaara, and once he's fighting Gaara, he's shooting him from a long range without rubberized bullets. He gets 2 shots into his sand, and once this happens, Gaara's getting annoyed, and then pins Sakura to the tree. Then a bunch of other shit happens, and then Naruto does Shadow Clone Jutsu, and he spawns in 2,000 Shadow Clones with the Glock 19, and he fires a fuck ton of bullets at the at Gaara, and most of them actually hit, and he's on one knee, struggling to even like survive, and then he's like, "F this," and then he releases the One Tails, and then once the One Tails is released, he decides to uh, just let him control the one, or let the One Tails take over. And then Naruto's like, "Damn, I can't have this happen." And then Gaara uses a sand burial prison or whatever on Naruto, and then Naruto summons Gamabunta, and then Gamabunta's like, "Oh, what do you want, kid?" And then Naruto was like, "You gotta help me defeat this guy." And then Gamabunta, we haven't even settled the deal over some sake. And then Naruto was like, "I'm not even over 21 yet." And then he points over to Gaara, and then Gamabunta is like, "Oh, so it's Shukaku, the sand spirit." And then Naruto was like, "Yeah, you think you could take him?" And then Gamabunta's like, "Yeah, I could take him. It just might take a while." So then everything's canon until Gamabunta explains that he has to just hit Gaara. So then um, Naruto was like, "Oh, if that's all I have to do." He puts in one rubbered bullet, and he charges up all the remaining chakra he has into this one shot. And he's standing on Gamabunta's nose, and he fires. And this thing sends Naruto flying so far back, and Gamabunta, it pushes him back even a few like inches, and then it hits a fucking Gaara straight in the head, almost fucking blowing his head off. It just knocked his head back so far, and he went so flying, and then he falls to the ground, and then Naruto saves the day, and he falls, and then he is exhausted from how much chakra he's been using lately, and he takes a little nap, and then once he wakes up, he figures out that Third Hokage had died while fighting Orochimaru, trying to protect the village, and then um Naruto and Sasuke got injured during the thing, so then Naruto goes over to visit Sasuke in his hospital bed, and then Sasuke and Naruto are arguing, and they're like, "Alright, come on, let's fight then." Then they walk up to the ceiling, and the most best part of, like, regular Naruto, not Shippuden, the best part of Naruto happens, and actually, oh, that doesn't happen yet. I'm keep forgetting that that's not that part. So whatever. So they don't fight. He just visits hospital bed, and then fucking Naruto is like, "Okay, so I'll see you later, Sasuke." Then he goes to his room and is researching how to make bigger bullets for a weapon that he's making. So then he researched for a while, and then he decides to go to bed because he's tired. That's where I'm going to leave it off here. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye, my Rhythm Gang.